Welcome back to First Take. Now to the NBA, where Luka Doncic continued to shine. 43 points, 7 dimes, 137-130 win for the Lakers against the Pacers. The Lakers have now won 13 of their last 15 games, but Luka also recorded his 11th straight game with at least 30 points. He is the first player to score 30 points in 6 straight games, with all of them coming on the road. Michael Jordan also did it 7 straight games from November to December of 1996. But can Luka's play lead the Lakers to the finals if he stays at this level? Brian Windhorst is back here with us. Wendy, what do you think? Now, remind they did play the Pacers last night, but go ahead, Wendy. What do you think?
Yeah, but this road trip, which what we're really talking about, is the defining moment to this point in the season for the Lakers. They knew going into the road trip how important it was going to be. Some of these games were very taxing and challenging, and they passed basically every test. They lost the one game, but it was in Detroit. It was a great win for the Pistons, but I think it was absolutely amazing. And here's the thing. Not only is Luka scoring all these points, like you can go find stretches of games, like you're looking at Jordan because it's on the road. You can go find stretches of games where guys scored lots of points, but the efficiency that he's scoring with is what's so jaw-dropping. I mean, he's shooting 50% in this stretch, over 40% from three. That's just, I mean, in some of the shots, Stephen A., the difficulty, the game in Miami that they played last week, the shots that Luka hit in that game, it was one of the most enjoyable moments of basketball this season, watching that game in Miami with Luka making that shot making. But I want to point something else out. In this 6-game road trip, he's got 17 steals. And I know that steals are not always the defining way you look at how well a guy's playing defense. And trust me, I promise you, if you break down the possession by possession, there will be possessions on this road trip where Luka was a traffic cone on defense. But there is no doubt to me, Stephen A., watching this Lakers run, how much harder he's working on defense. And I see LeBron doing it too. Luka's getting his hands on a lot of balls. And so the question is can this lead them to the finals? Last night, Oklahoma City lost for the first time in a month. And, you know, they've only got a 1-game lead essentially on San Antonio because San Antonio has lost 2 times in 2 months. So when you look at that as the standard, who's ahead of them? It's very difficult for me to say, oh, yeah, Luka's going to lead them to 8 playoff wins over those 2 teams because that's the pathway they're looking at. But the one thing I'll say, Stephen A., and then I'll hand it to you. The Spurs and Thunder are awesome. I believe that those 2 teams, one of those very highly probably is going to be in the finals. But I just will go back 1 year. I don't need to lean back on 2012 or 2007 because you know you and I have been around a long time. We can go back to that level. I will just go back 1 year where in March of last year, I saw this little engine that could start putting things together and start having impressive wins and their star player doing impressive stuff. And that was the Indiana Pacers. And so I am not in any way close to touching saying that Luka and the Lakers are going to go on that type of run. I am just going to point out that in the NBA, you sometimes see teams put things together health-wise and chemistry-wise and effort-wise, and things fall into place, and they take off. And I think what's happening with the Lakers right now is relevant. That's all I'm going to say.
It is relevant. There's no doubt about it. But it doesn't mean they're going to the finals. And the reason why it doesn't mean that way is because, A, they're not good enough defensively to offset the combination of San Antonio and OKC.
Probably.
Beating one of them is possible. Beating both of them is highly unlikely. That's number one. Number two, they're the second worst in the league in terms of bench production. So as great as Luka is, as great as LeBron has been, as great as Austin Reeves and others can be and have been, the fact remains that depth is an issue with the Los Angeles Lakers, and that is a problem you do not need to have when you're talking about San Antonio and OKC being 2 teams that are roadblocks and impediment to the success that you're hoping to achieve. That's really what this all comes down to. Luka is sensational. He's the league leader in scoring. He's 3rd in the league in assists. We keep forgetting that. He's not just scoring. He's assisting in others scoring the basketball as well. We look at Austin Reeves. This is a brother that has arrived on the scene and put everybody on notice about how special he is. And we know he could put up buckets. You look at LeBron, he's playing center at times. He's putting up triple doubles at times. He's dunking, leading the league in fast break points. And in the open court is playing above the rim in his 23rd season in the NBA, which is nothing short of phenomenal. So we're seeing all of these things. So the question to ask yourself when you ask a question like this is the combination of Luka, AR, and LeBron enough to bring you a championship? And the answer is no, because it's asking too much of those three to do it all for you on both ends of the floor without getting spelled for, because you can't give them a break because nobody comes off the bench to produce for them. That's what you're really, really looking at right now when you're talking about going up against a San Antonio and an OKC. I think the Lakers have a shot to beat San Antonio. I think that's a 7-game series. I really, really do. And then the 7th game with Luka and LeBron having to deal with that, it'd be interesting to see what San Antonio would do and how they'd rise to that occasion. Oklahoma City obviously is a different beast in and of itself because they're champions, they're tried and tested, and they've got a superstar, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that ain't going anywhere. And Jalen Williams just got back, and Lord help everybody if he gets his legs under him. So those are all things to think about. But I think the answer to this question would be no, but it's not through any fault of Luka. It's the fact that they lack depth, particularly with their bench. And you know what? Defensively, they're better, but they're still not great. Period.
That's true. And that's true. I will say this, Shai. I think the Lakers have 2 games left with Oklahoma City, one in OKC, one here in Los Angeles. And OKC is in a reasonably serious fight for the #1 seed, which I think they want. So I don't think they're going to shut guys down for those games. So while I think that the Lakers have really been impressive with this road trip and really worked so hard to get to the 3 seed, this is a better question to ask after seeing them play full power at Oklahoma City over the next, I think it's 7 to 10 days.
Okay. You mentioned the 17 steals for Luka Doncic over the last 11 games. He's averaging almost 40 points per game.
Lakers are red hot. This was Luka's 6th straight with 30 or more, all of them on the road. That's the longest streak by any player since Michael Jordan in 1996. Tim McMahon with us this morning. You've been covering Luka all his career. You know what he looks like and what a team has to look like around him to make a deep playoff push. This one doesn't look anything like the Mavericks team he took to the finals a few years ago, but does it look like a team that could make a deep run in these playoffs?
I mean, I don't wonder whether they're good enough on the offensive end to make a deep run. Luka's obviously on a heat effort, but I just have real doubts about whether they can overcome some real personnel issues on the defensive end well enough to win 3 rounds in a loaded Western Conference.
Let me make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. And Monica, when you hear smoke and mirrors, what it sounds to me like we're hearing is that when teams start just focusing on them and we're playing you every other day and we're not thinking about anything else, that some of the deficiencies that are hidden in this, the 3rd game in 5 nights or whatever the case may be, that those things will become too much to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, the nature of a series in terms of scouting and the details and the margins that matter, to me, if the Lakers are going to be one of the last teams standing in the Western Conference, they have no room for error. Not little room for error. They've got no room for error, and that's just not realistic in today's game because of how well teams prepare to face one another in a series.
Is that because of their defense? I mean, they certainly can do it on the offensive end. With Luka doing what he's doing, LeBron settling into the 3rd offensive option role, you have to be telling me that you're convinced that they can't hold up on the other end.
The bigger concern is certainly their defense, but I also do wonder what is actually sustainable from Luka, right? Yes, he has been fantastic in the regular season. He's been even better over this 10-game stretch, but in a series, if you run into a Thunder or Spurs squad who really hang their hat on defense, do they then decide, okay, cool, we're going to let you go ahead and get your 40, but everybody else is on lock because they have personnel that is capable of doing that.
McMahon, finish it up.
I'll just point out that Luka is the last superstar to send Oklahoma City home in a playoff series.
This is true.
So
this is true. That's the good call.
We've seen this guy do some pretty amazing things in the playoffs before.
Okay, that's a good place to finish that part of the conversation. There's one other thing I've wanted to do all morning long. From the moment that Monica McNutt walked in here today. I've been admiring those glasses. So we are now going to, it's this camera here, we're going to switch. We're going to swap glasses.
These are 12 p.m. studios, Greeny. Very affordable, very luxurious. Shout out to Janae Naylor, a product of the Washington, D.C. area. It's her brand. They actually don't look bad on you, Greeny. And I can't see, but how do I look?
Mine are reading glasses. Yours seem purely to be decorative, from 100%. What I can tell. I don't see anything any better or worse, although everyone has become blue.
There you go.
So everything.
They're working for you, Greeny.
I think they are working for me.
For you.
I put mine on again.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Let me see those again. That's
I mean, I think I can pull them off.
You look like you're grading my paper.
Fair enough.
You look like you're about to give me a C+ in science. All right, we're rolling.